Geography, climate. What are the elements of weather and climate? Temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, and precipitation are the elements of weather and climate. What is the variation of temperature in India? In some parts of Rajasthan, the highest temperature is 50 degrees centigrade and it is around minus 45 degrees centigrade at Dras in Jammu and Kashmir. What is the variation of annual precipitation in India? The annual precipitation is over 400 cm in Meghalaya and less than 10 cm in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Why are the hills cooler during summer and people prefer to go to hill stations? As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Which tropic passes just from the center of India? Tropic of Cancer passes just from the center of India. India lies in which region? Winds. India lies in the region of northeasterly winds. Name the two branches of southwest monsoons of India. The two branches of southwest monsoon of India are Arabian Sea branch and Bay of Bengal branch. What is Mahavat? The total amount of winter rainfall is locally known as Mahavat. What is Lu? There are strong, gusty, hot, dry winds blowing during the day over the north and northwestern India. What is Kal Baisakhi? These are localized thunderstorm associated with violent winds, downpours accompanied by severe torrential precipitation, rarely carried by the hailstorm. Which region of India receives the highest rainfall in the world? Mawsyn Ram in the southern region of Khasi Hills in Meghalaya receives the highest average rainfall in the world. What are mango showers? Mango showers are the pre monsoon showers taking place on the coast of Kerala and Karnataka. Since they help in the early ripening of mangoes, they are called mango showers. What do you know about southwestern monsoon winds? Air moves from high pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in a southeasterly direction, crosses the equator and turns right towards the low pressure areas over the Indian subcontinent. These are known as southwest monsoon winds. Name the four main seasons of India. The four main seasons of India are the cold weather season, the hot weather season, the advancing monsoon, and the retreating monsoon. What does breaks in rainfall mean? It means wet and dry spells of rain. The monsoon rainfall takes place only for a few days at a time. These rainless intervals in between are called as breaks in rainfall. How do heavy floods occur during monsoons? When excess of rainfall shifts closer to Himalayas, there are large dry spells in the plains and widespread rain occurs in the mountains of Himalayan rivers. These heavy rains bring devastating floods causing damage to life and property in the plains. How is monsoon known for its uncertainty? The alteration of dry and wet spells of rains varies in intensity, frequency, and duration. While it causes heavy floods in one part, it may be responsible for droughts in the other. It is often irregular in its arrival and its retreat. Hence, if sometimes disturbs the farming schedule of millions of farmers all over the country. Differentiate between climate and weather. Climate refers to some total of weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period of time. Weather refers to the state of atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The elements of weather and climate are the same. What type of climate does India have? India has a monsoon type of climate. This time of this type of climate is found mainly in South and Southeast Asia. It is called monsoon type since India receives pre-monsoon showers in the month of May, proper monsoon during hot weather season, winter monsoon due to western disturbance in winter, and a little rain when the monsoon retreat. Why does India have a monsoon type of climate? Climate of India is strongly governed by monsoon winds. Monsoon winds are confined to tropical lands between 20 degree north and 20 degree south. In the Indian subcontinent, the Himalayas guide the flow of monsoon winds, bringing the whole of subcontinent under the influence of these winds. These winds account for 75 to 90% of annual rainfall from June to September. It is influenced by southwest monsoons, retreating monsoons, and northeast monsoons. How does the latitude affect India's climate? The Tropic of Cancer passes almost from the middle of the country. Almost half of the country lying south of the Tropic of Cancer belongs to the tropical area. All the remaining area in the north of the Tropic of Cancer lies in the subtropical area. Therefore, India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical type of climate. How does altitude affect climate of India? India has mountains to the north which have an average height of about 6,000 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is due to these mountains that the Indian subcontinent experiences comparatively milder winter as compared to Central Asia. What are tropical cyclones? They occur during monsoons as well as in October and November and are part of easterly flow. These disturbances affect the eastern coastal regions of India. They originate over the Andaman Sea and are often very destructive. What do you understand by October heat? In month of October, day temperatures are high, nights are cool and pleasant. The land is still moist. Owing to the conditions of high temperature and humidity, the weather becomes oppressive during the day. Sky is clear. This condition is commonly known as October heat. Why are Thiruvananthapuram and Shillong rainier in June? The southwest monsoons hit Thiruvananthapuram and Shillong around the first week of June. Thiruvananthapuram receives rain from the Arabian Sea branch while Shillong receives rain from the Bay of Bengal branch. After causing rains in these regions, the Arabian Sea branch moves from southwest to northeast while the Bay of Bengal branch moves from northeast to northwest. As a result, these regions receive lesser rainfall in the month of succeeding June. Why is July rainier in Mumbai than in Thiruvananthapuram? Mumbai is located about 10 degrees north of Thiruvananthapuram. The monsoon reaches here in the second week of July. The first 10 days of June are rainless in Mumbai, but July as a whole is very rainy for Mumbai. The monsoon breaks with full force on June 1st in Thiruvananthapuram. June is rainier in Thiruvananthapuram than July. Why are southwest monsoons less rainy in Chennai? Chennai is located on the Coromandel coast. It lies in the rain shadow region of the Arabian Sea branch of southwest monsoons. It first strikes the western coastal region and is almost exhausted by the time it reaches Chennai. The Bay of Bengal branch runs nearly parallel to the Coromandel coast, so it also fails to give rains to Chennai. Besides, offshore dry winds blow over this region in the summers. Why is Shillong rainier than Kolkata? Shillong is surrounded by hills and mountains which cause the Bay of Bengal branch of southwest monsoon to accumulate in this region. This is the reason why this region experiences heavy rainfall. On the other hand, Kolkata does not lie in a hilly area, thus, it receives lesser rainfall as compared to Shillong. How does Delhi receive more rainfall than Jodhpur? Delhi receives more rainfall since it is better located with respect to the arrival of monsoon and western disturbances. It gets mild rains from both the branches of southwest monsoons as well as the western disturbances. Jodhpur gets rains mainly from Arabian Sea branch of the monsoon. Thermal heating during the summer also reduces precipitation. Winter is dry in this region. Why has Leh moderate precipitation almost throughout the year? Leh is also called a cold desert. Leh has moderate precipitation almost throughout the year because of its topographical location. It lies on the landlocked high Ladakh plateau beyond the Himalayas. The local precipitation is very less, but it is well distributed in the form of rains in summers and snowfall in winters. Why are the variations in precipitation in India? There are variations not only in the form of type of precipitation but also in its amount and seasonal distribution. Precipitation is mostly in the form of snowfall in the upper parts of the Himalayas, but it rains over the rest of the country. The annual precipitation varies from 400 centimeter in Meghalaya in less than 10 centimeter in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most parts of the country receive rainfall from June to September, but some parts like Tamil Nadu coast gets most of its rain during October and November. What are the six major controls of the climate of the world? The six major controls of the climate of the world are latitude. Due to the round shape of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to latitude. As a result, air temperature decreases from equator towards the poles. Altitude. As one moves up to higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Therefore, hills are the cooler during summers. Pressure and winds. Pressure and wind system of an area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. Distance from the sea. If the region is close to the sea, it makes the temperature moderate, but if it is away from the sea, it experiences extreme weather conditions. Ocean currents. Ocean currents, along with the onshore winds, affect the climate of a coastal area. Any coastal area with warm or cold currents flowing fast, it will become warm or cold if the winds are onshore. Relief. High mountain act as barriers for cold and hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they lie in the path of rain bearing winds. The leeward side of mountains remains dry, whereas the windward side is able to receive rains. State how the pressure and wind conditions over India are unique. During winter, a high pressure area develops in north of Himalayas. Cold, dry winds blow from this region to the low pressure areas over oceans to the south. In summer, a low pressure area develops over interior Asia as well as over northwestern India. This causes a complete reversal of the direction of winds during summer. Air moves from the high pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in a southwesterly direction, crosses the equator, and turns right towards the low pressure area over the Indian subcontinent. These winds are known as southwest monsoon winds. These winds blow over the warm oceans, gather moisture, and bring widespread rainfall over the mainland of India. State the chief characteristics of the hot weather season in India. India experiences the hot weather season from the month of March to May. The temperature in the northern plains of India is between 42 to 45 and in the Deccan Plateau it is between 35 to 36 degrees centigrade. Towards the end of May, an elongated low pressure area develops in the region surrounding the Thar Desert to Patna and Chota Nagpur Plateau. During the hot weather season, strong gusty, hot, dry winds known as Lu blows direct exposure to these winds may even prove to be fatal. Dust storms are very common during the month of May in northern India. These storms bring temporary relief as they lower the temperatures. This is also the season of localized thunderstorms associated with violent winds and torrential rains known as Kal Baisakhi in West Bengal. Give a brief account of how monsoon advances into India. In early June, the low pressure conditions over the northern plains intensify. These northeast trade winds cross the equator and blow in southwesterly direction, entering the Indian peninsula as the southwest monsoons. As these winds blow over warm oceans, they bring abundant moisture to the subcontinent. These winds are strong and blow at an average velocity of 30 km per hour. Early in the season, the windward side of the Western Ghats receives very heavy rainfall, more than 250 centimeter. The maximum rainfall of this season is received in the northeastern part of the country. Mausin Ram in Khasi Hills receives the highest average rainfall in the world. Rainfall in the Ganges Valley decreases from east to west. Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat get scanty rainfall. What is the distribution of rainfall in India? The western coast and the northeastern India receive rainfall of over about 400 centimeters. It is less than 60 centimeters in western Rajasthan and adjoining parts of Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab. Rainfall is equally low in the interiors of Deccan Plateau and east of Sahyadris. A third area of low precipitation is around Leh in Jammu Kashmir. The rest of the country receives moderate rainfall. Snowfall is restricted to Himalayan region. Why do the northeast trade winds change their direction while blowing through the Ganga Valley? A feeble high pressure area develops over the northwestern part of India in the cold weather season. Light winds begin to blow outwards. These dry northwesterly winds come in contact with the Indian trades over the Ganga Valley. The direction of north easterlies changes as a result of the contact as well as under the influence of topography. The direction in northwestern down the Ganga Valley and northerlies over the Ganga Brahmaputra Delta. Over the Bay of Bengal, the trade winds retain their original northeasterly direction as they are free from the influence of any topography over the sea. Why are the deltas of the Krishna, Kaveri, and Godavari frequently struck by cyclones? The low pressure conditions over northwestern India get transferred to the Bay of Bengal in early November. This shift is associated with the occurrence of cyclonic depressions which originate over the Andaman Sea. These cyclones generally cross the eastern coasts of India and cause heavy and widespread rains. These tropical cyclones are often very destructive. The thickly populated delta of Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri are frequently struck by cyclones which cause great damage to life and property. Sometimes these cyclones arrive at the coast of Odisha, West Bengal, and Bangladesh. The bulk of rainfall of the Coromandel coast is derived from depression and cyclones. Give reasons why parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the leeward side of the Western Ghats are drought prone. Western Rajasthan and part of Gujarat are desert type regions with extreme climate. Intense thermal heating makes the desert land very dry. The Arabian Sea branch runs parallel to Aravallis, providing no barriers to the clouds, leaving it again a dry region. The Bay of Bengal branch is unable to reach up to western part, and in winters even western disturbance also hardly give any rains to this region. The leeward side of Western Ghats also lies in the rain shadow of southwest monsoons. With the result, regions lying at the same latitude are unable to receive rains if they are on the leeward side of the Western Ghats. A relief feature has a major role to play in determining the climate of a place. Support the statement with any three relevant examples. Altitude. As one moves up to higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Therefore, hills are cooler during summers. Relief. High mountains act as barriers for cold and hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they lie in the path of rain bearing winds. The leeward side of mountain remains dry, whereas the windward side is able to receive rains. Northeastern hills. The maximum rainfall of the season is received in the northeastern hills. Garo Khasi Chenchia Hills, located in Meghalaya, trap the southwest monsoon clouds and cause world's highest rainfall in Mausinram in Meghalaya. Is it correct to say that India would have been an arid land without monsoon? Support your answer with arguments. India's climate depends entirely on monsoons. The reasons are: since western Rajasthan do not receive rainfall, it is an arid and sandy region. Northeastern winds, which are prevailing in India, are moving from land to sea, therefore, they are dry. But due to deflection of the winds coming from south west direction, India does receive rains. Without monsoons, we might not be having thick forest level. Without monsoon, Indian farmers might not be able to irrigate their lands in peninsular India, as peninsular rivers are seasonal and totally dependent on rains. The northeastern hills and western ghats are covered with lush green forest only because of heavy rains in both these areas, or these areas might have been arid. What would have been the climate of India if the Himalayas were not in existence along the northern border of India? India has Himalayas located at its northern border, which have an average height of 6,000 meters. The Himalayas present the cold winds from Central Asia. They prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering India. Himalayas are also able to stop the southwest monsoon winds which cause rainfall in the northern plains of India. What are the controls affecting the climate of India? The elements affecting the climate of India are latitude, altitude, pressure and winds, distance from sea, ocean currents, relief features. Why does India have a monsoon type of climate? India has a monsoon type of climate because the climate of India is governed by monsoon winds which are limited between 20° north to 20° south. Which part of India does experience the highest diurnal range of temperature and why? The Indian desert located in the northwestern part of India experiences the higher diurnal range of temperature because the sand which is present there quickly becomes hot during day and cools down rapidly during night. Which winds account for rainfall along Malabar coast? Malabar coast gets rains from southwest monsoon winds. Define monsoons. What do you understand by break in monsoon? Monsoon refers to a wind system that influences large climatic regions and reverses direction seasonally. Monsoon break refers to the happening of wet and dry spells during rainy season. The monsoon rains take place only for a few days at a time. Why is the monsoon considered a unifying bond? Monsoon is considered a unifying bond because the monsoon of India is highly influenced by its flora and fauna. The water for the agricultural activities is provided by these monsoon winds. Most of the festivals in India that are related to agricultural cycle may be known by different names in different parts of the country, but their celebration is decided by the monsoon. The river valleys which carry this water also unite as a single river valley unit. Why does the rainfall decrease from east to west in northern India? The Bay of Bengal branch of southwest monsoon moves towards northeast carrying more moisture, and they give heavy rainfall in this region. As they move further towards west, they carry less moisture content with themselves, resulting in decrease in rainfall in the west. Give reasons as to why. Seasonal reversal of wind direction takes place over the Indian subcontinent. Seasonal reversal of wind direction over the Indian subcontinent takes place due to pressure differential. A major part is played by the El Nino in the seasonal reversal of wind direction over the Indian subcontinent. The bulk of rainfall in India is concentrated over a few months. The monsoon begins from first week of June and covers the whole country by mid-July rapidly. Therefore, the bulk of rainfall in India is concentrated over a few months, mainly June to August. Tamil Nadu coast receives winter rainfall. The Tamil Nadu coast receives winter rainfall because of movement of low pressure conditions to the Bay of Bengal. The delta region of eastern coast is frequently struck by cyclones. As the Bay of Bengal is the center of many pressure changes and therefore there always leading to chance of a cyclone. Due to this, the delta region of the eastern coast is frequently struck by cyclones. Parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat and leeward side of the Western Ghats are drought prone. The parts fall in rain shadow area of the Aravalli. Hence, they are drought prone as they don't receive much of the rainfall. Describe the regional variation in climatic conditions of India with the help of suitable examples. There is regional variation in climate conditions of India. Temperature and precipitation vary from place to place and season to season. During the summer season, the temperature rises up to 50 degrees centigrade in parts of Rajasthan, whereas it may be around 20 degrees centigrade in Pahalgam in Kashmir. During the winter season at night, the temperature in Dras in Kashmir may be minus 45 degree centigrade, whereas in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala it may be of 20 degree centigrade. In Andaman Islands, the difference between the temperature of day and night may be hardly 7 or 8 degree centigrade. Coastal areas experience less contrast in the temperature, whereas seasonal contrasts are more in interior of the country. There is decrease in rainfall generally from east to west in the northern plains. Most parts of India receive rainfall from June to September, whereas some parts like the Tamil Nadu coast get a large portion of its rain during October and November. Give an account of weather conditions and characteristics of the cold season. Following are the features of cold season. The winter season begins from mid-November and continues till February in northern India. December and January are the coldest months in the northern part of India. The temperature ranges between 10 to 15 degrees centigrade in northern plains, while it ranges between 24 to 25 degrees centigrade in Chennai. Days are warm and nights are cold. Frost is common in the north and the higher slopes of Himalayas experience snowfall. The northeast trade winds prevail over the country in this season as these winds blow from land to sea. Most parts of the country experience a dry season. The weather is usually marked by clear sky, low temperature, low humidity, and weak variable winds. The inflow of cyclonic disturbances from the west and the northwest is characteristic feature of cold weather over northern plains. These low pressure systems originate over the Mediterranean Sea and Western Asia and move into India. They cause winter rains over the plains and snowfall in the mountains. The winter rainfall is in small amount but is very important for the Rabi crop. This rainfall is locally known as Mahavat. The peninsular region does not have a well-defined cold season due to the moderating influence of the sea. Give the characteristics and effects of the monsoon rainfall in India. Characteristics of the monsoon rainfall in India. The duration of the monsoon varies from 100 to 120 days from early June to mid-September. The normal rainfall suddenly increases around the time of its arrival and continues regularly for several days. This is called burst of the monsoon. They are distinguished from the pre-monsoon showers because of their increase in rainfall amount and regularity. The monsoon arrives at the southern tip of Indian peninsula generally by the first week of June. The rainfall is unevenly distributed across the country. Effects of monsoon rainfall in India. Agriculture in India largely depends on Indian monsoons for water. Late, low, or excessive rains have a negative impact on crops. Due to uneven distribution of rainfall across the country, there are few places that are drought prone and few are flood affected. The monsoon provides India with a diverse climate pattern. Hence, in spite of the presence of great regional variations, it has unifying influence upon the country and its people.